salvete discipuli. Let's do some more translating. So our sentence right now is non solum fortuna squiggity squig squig ipsa est caeca sed etiam eos caecos facit quos semper iuvat. Well, I mean, technically it doesn't really matter if I put a V there instead of a U because those letters are the same in Latin. Can you guess who wrote this windbaggy sentence or who this comes from? It's Cicero. Of course it's Cicero. It's too many words to say something. It has to be a Cicero. It has to be something from Cicero. Okay, so this sentence has something in it that we haven't really gone over yet. Well, a little bit. We went over it a little bit in relation to another, in relation to another pronoun, ipsa here, an intensive pronoun. We'll go through it while we get to it. Just want to give you a little bit of a heads up there. Let's put our parts of speech in. Non here, this is a negation. It can go with a verb. That's how we've seen it most of the time, but it can also go with an adverb or with a noun or most likely an adjective or something like that to kind of show not this. We're going to take it as one part with solum here. Solum is acting as an adverb. We've seen it as maybe we haven't seen it, but it can act as an adjective. Here, these two are working together as an adverb. Okay, fortuna, that's a noun. Ipsa, I just said, is a pronoun. Est, that's a verb. Caeca, this is an adjective. Sed here, this is a conjunction. Etiam, this is another conjunction. Eos here, this is another pronoun. Caecos, this is another adjective. Facit, this is a verb. Quos, we have a period at the end and not a question mark. So this is not an interrogative, it's a relative pronoun. Semper, this is another adverb, and iuvat is another verb. So this is very, very long. So let's go ahead and split it up into clauses here. Where do we start? Let's start with the relative pronoun. We know the relative pronoun right here at the end. Start with the relative pronoun and we go until we hit the end of the sentence or a verb. So there's that there. Next thing, so we can look for, we found a relative pronoun. We don't have any other relative pronoun. What's another thing we can look for to split up our sentence into smaller clauses is a conjunction. So we have sed and etiam here. If they were spread out a little bit more in the sentence, I would say using them both as indicators for a new clause would be a good idea, but we just kind of need one here. We'll use sed and we'll go to the end of this. There's another clause, and then we'll have non solum fortuna ipsa est caeca here as another. So let's put this first part onto a separate piece of paper and translate it. So the first part is non solum fortuna ipsa there we go, non solum fortuna ipsa est caeca. let's once again go ahead and mark out our parts of speech. Start working as an adverb here, meaning, oops, pull it down a little bit, not only. Where's my color for adverbs? Where'd it went? There we go. So not only. Okay. Fortuna, this is a noun. Ipsa, this is a pronoun. S, this is a verb. Caeca, this is an adjective. All right, let's start with our verb here. What information do we get from our verb? We get the number and person for our subject of the verb. This is a third person singular form of sum esse. I can find my chart here real quick so I don't have to write it out. Sum esse, fui futurum. So this is to be. First person singular, sum, I am, and then on and on. Est is the third person singular in the present tense. So he, she, it is. So we know it is a third person singular. So don't know what the subject of the verb is yet, but we know it's a he, she, or it. He, she, it is. Okay, so he, she, it is. We're looking for a singular third person subject. So something in the nominative, a noun in the nominative. We're not looking for an I or you. We're looking for a third person. So what else do we have in this sentence? We have caeca and we have ipsa. And then we also have fortuna. Let's talk about fortuna. Fortuna is a first declension noun. Fortuna, fortunae. So this means like chance, fortune, or like luck. Say first declension. So that means that it is feminine and it's a noun. Let's decline it. Fortuna, nominative singular. So the chance, the luck, the fortune, fortunae, and the nominative plural. Chances, fortunes, luck. Lucks. I don't know. Luck in the plural. Genitive in the singular, fortunae. Of luck, of chance, of fortune. Fortunarum. Of chances, of fortunes, of lucks. Dative, singular, fortunae. 2 for luck, 2 for chance, 2 for fortune. Fortunis in the dative plural, 2 for luck, and the plural, 2 for chances, 2 for fortune. In the accusative, fortunam. In the plural, fortunos. So luck, chance, fortune as the direct object, singular and plural. And then in the ablative, fortuna, and in the, so by with luck, chances, fortunes, and in the plural, fortunis. Right, so the form we have in our sentence is fortuna. That is either the nominative singular form or the ablative singular form. We don't have any verb of separation or anything like that. And we don't have any kind of preposition. So this is not likely to be it's not likely to be an ablative. So we're going to call it as a nominative. Okay, so this nominative singular thing, if it's nominative, that means it's going to be the subject of the verb. So this is a feminine singular nominative. So she is, and she meaning fortune. Okay. Let's talk about what ipsa is real quick. So I've talked about reflexive pronouns before. A reflexive pronoun is a pronoun that reflects back onto the subject. We'll put it down here just because this main thing is about, I'll put it intensive. So a reflexive reflects back on the subject. So the girls love themselves. This is the girls here are the subject. They're in the nominative. The verb here is love, and themselves are the object. Even though we were referring to the girls here themselves, this refers to the girls. Themselves is not in the nominative because it has to be, we need an object for love here. So in Latin, this would be puellae amant. Where's my orange? There you go. Say. The girls love themselves. An intensive pronoun is which is what ipsa here is. An intensive pronoun is like an emphasis. It's restating something. So there we are. So an intensive pronoun emphasizes the subject, or it emphasizes its noun. Okay. So where the reflexive would be the girls love themselves, the intensive version of that, using the same words, just a different order, would be the girls themselves love. So they're no longer the object of the verb here. The girls are the subject, and then this would be in the nominative as well because it's just restating the girls. The girls themselves. The girls themselves, they love. There's no object here. They are not the object. They're just a restatement of the subject here. Okay, so in Latin that would look like puella or puellae ipsae amant. Okay, now how do these decline? So because it is, so the reflexive pronoun only has 4 forms, but because it's just saying it's being an object, referring back to the subject, the intensive form is like an adjective. The other one is an object. The intensive is more like an adjective, so it declines like an adjective, okay? So we'll go ahead and put our intensive pronoun. So I'm going to have singular on this side, a plural on this side. There's going to be a column for masculine, feminine, and neuter in both. All right. Let me pull out my nominative color here. For masculine singular nominative, we have ipse, himself, ipsa, herself, ipsum, and sometimes you'll see it as, what I have in front, yeah, maybe, yeah. Sometimes you'll see it as, I'm gonna move it over. I don't have enough room to do the plural there. Writing too big, too far over. Here we go. So ipse, ipsa, ipsum, and sometimes you will see it as ipsud. It's not common, it's later, and I think it's more medieval, but it exists. So if it exists, you should probably know about it, just in case you should come across it. Okay. In the genitive, all three are ipsius. 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 In the dative, all three are ipsi. In the accusative, ipsum, ipsam, and ipsum or ipsud. No, we'll make it match. Make them both lowercase, why not? Ipsud. And then in the ablative, ipso, ipsa, ipso. Okay, so this is he himself, she herself, it itself, of he himself, of her herself, of it itself, to for he himself, to for her herself, to for it itself, he himself as the object, her herself as the object, it itself as the object, by with him himself, by with her herself, by with it itself. Okay, that's singular. Let's do plural. Ipsi, and the well, actually, I should probably toss a masculine, feminine, and neuter above those. Ipsi in the masculine plural. Ipsi in the feminine plural. Oh boy. And ipsa, yowza, in the neuter plural. Let me kind of respace these because that is awkward and tight. All right. Ipsi, ipsi, ipsa. Alrighty. And themselves masculine, or they themselves masculine, they themselves feminine, they themselves neuter. Ipsorum, of they themselves, ipsarum, of they themselves feminine, ipsorum, of they themselves neuter. Oopsies. In the dative, ipsis, ipsis, ipsis. In the accusative, In the accused, whoop, that's the wrong color. Ipsos, ipsos, ipsa. Whoops. Well, I'm dragging that around while my hand's moving. In the ablative, plural, ipsis, ipsis, ipsis. There's the masculine, the feminine, and the neuter. All right, so the form that we have in this sentence is ipsa. Ipsa, which could be the feminine singular nominative, feminine singular ablative, or the neuter plural nominative. So which is this? Well, an intensive pronoun is referring back to a noun. And the only noun that we have in this sentence is fortuna. And fortuna is a feminine singular. So this is going to be a feminine nominative singular. Okay, so luck or chance. Chance would be, okay, so in Latin we would say chance or luck herself, because Latin is a gendered language. English is not, so for the sake of, for the sake of clarity, we're gonna say itself, understanding that it is feminine, okay? But English is not a gendered language, so it doesn't really make sense to have herself on there when we're trying to translate it into English and understand it. So, okay, so ipsa is referring to fortuna here. The only thing we have left in this little clause here is caeca, which is an adjective from that's a U, from caecos, caeca, caecum. This is a first, second adjective. Okay, and this, let me find it on here. This means blind. All right, so I'm going to have singular on this side, plural on this side, 3 columns, masculine, feminine, and neuter. So we'll start with caecos, the masculine, caecos, feminine, caeca, and the neuter, caecum. In the plural, I keep wanting to put that, there we go, caeci, caecai, and caeca. In the genitive, caeci. In the genitive here, caeci or caecai. And in the neuter, keep wanting to make it a U, caeci. Remember, this is masculine, feminine, and neuter, masculine, feminine, and neuter. I don't have much space here, so I'm just going to put the endings. In the masculine plural, genitive, caecorum, caecarum, caecorum. In the dative, whoopsie, circle my pens. We have caeco, caecai again, and caeco, caecis, caecis. Oh, I guess I have room to spell those completely out, so we'll do that. Caecis. In the accusative, caecum, caecum, caecum. In the accusative plural, caecos, caecos, caeca. In the ablative, ac. We have caeco, caeca, caeco, and in the ablative plural, no, not a U. It's not a U. Stop trying to make it a U. Caecis, all three. All right, so the form we have in this clause is caeca, which can be the feminine singular nominative, feminine singular ablative, or the neuter plural nominative, or the neuter plural accusative. It's an adjective, so it needs to be modifying something in gender, number, and case. There is a noun here that is feminine singular nominative that would agree with this in gender, number, and case. This is a feminine singular nominative. So caeca, blind. So this clause here says not only chance itself, she is blind. Not only is chance, fortune, luck. Dot, dot, dot. And we have, again, a predicate nominative. X equals Y. Thing in the nominative, form of sum esse, meaning equals, is other thing in the nominative. Okay, so let's move on to the next clause. All right, so we've taken care of that clause. Sed etiam eos caecos facit is the next clause. Here we go. Sed etiam eos caecos facit. All right, parts of speech. Let's get them in there. Where's my pen for parts of speech? No, not you, pen. So we have conjunction, said, which means like but or however. And we also have, next up we have etiam. And etiam is like a compound conjunction here. So it's also conjunction. It's a compound conjunction of et, which means and yam, which means now. So like and now, which we take to mean not exactly and now, we take it kind of more like also, but also. We have two conjunctions so far. Eos, which is a pronoun, a third person personal pronoun. Caecos, this is an adjective. And then facit, which is a verb. So we just did caecos for the previous clause. Let's pull that back down. And caecos is only used in one, this form is only used in one instance, and that is the masculine plural accusative form. So it's kind of easy for us, right? So we know that this here is a masculine plural accusative. So blind, and we'll put the PL so we know plural. Okay, cool, great. What else what could it be? It's an adjective, it needs to be modifying something. What could it be modifying? Possibly this pronoun right here. Let's pull out our third person personal pronoun chart to see if we can match it. And wouldn't you know it, eos is only found in the masculine plural accusative form. So this one agrees with caecos. So masculine plural accusative. So eos, remember from isse, id, he, she, it. This is they, he plural, masculine they. Okay. So being accusative, we know that this is going to be not know for sure it's going to be, but it's probably going to be an object. So we have a verb left. Let's see if this is perhaps the object of facit. What is the subject of facit? There is no other subject stated that could be in this little clause, the subject of facit, so we need to assume that the previous subject is still the subject of this verb, and the previous subject was fortuna. So we can put in here in the little parenthesis, fortuna, that was our previous subject, and it's the subject of this verb as well. Let's conjugate facio facere, feci factum. Yes, we did it in the previous video, but it's good to practice. Practice. Facio facere, feci factum. The IO at the end of the first principal part and the ERE at the end of the second principal part tell us that this is a third IO. This verb facio means to make. Okay, so let's go ahead and identify our stem. We find the stem by disregarding the terminal ERE, ARE, IRE. In this case, ERE. There is our stem. We'll write it up here. Our stem, FAC. Now, what is it about? Does this use the same kind of vowel convention that, say, a first conjugation or second conjugation would? No. Instead of using the thematic vowel here, E, all tenses will use at least I. In present tense, it's only I. In imperfect and in future, it's IE, except for in future first person singular, that is an IA. Okay, so let's make our charts. There's our present, singular, first, second, third person. Imperfect. Singular, first, second, third person. And in future. Singular, first, second, third person. Messy, 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 messy. Plural. Alrighty. Stem, activate. teaching this verb in class, especially the imperative of this verb, always gets the class into a little bit of giggles because it sounds like you're saying a swear with a hard middle Midwestern accent. All right, so we have the stem. Now we need to dot the I, add the I to everything. In the third person plural, you don't just get an I, you also get an IU. In the imperfect, it's not just an I, it's an IE. In the future, everything gets an I. First person singular gets an IA. Everything else gets an IE. Okay, so for present and for future, that's it. Now you just tack on your personal endings. For first person singular, you get that O. There's the first person singular. That's the first principal part. That's the first person present active indicative form. Facio, I make. Tack on that S for the second person singular. Facis, you make. Third person singular. Facit, she makes. First person plural and tack on the mus. Facimus, we make. Third or second person plural. Tis, factis, y'all make. Third person plural, NT on the end. Faciant, they make. We'll go straight to future because we don't have anything else to add to future here, just the personal endings. When it's not an O, it's an M you tack on to the end of first person singular. First person singular, faciam, I will make. Second person singular, add on the S, facies, you will make. Third person singular, tack on the T, faciet, he will make. Third or first person plural, tack on the M, US. That's kind of a janky M there. We can do better. There we are. Faciemus, we will make. On the second person plural, tis. Facietis, y'all will make. On the third person plural, NT, facient, they will make. So on imperfect, you have to do a little extra work. You have to add in what's that thing called? It's the tense indicator. Every single conjugate gets it. Okay. Got your stem, got your vowel, you have your tense indicator. Now you put in your personal ending. Facie bam. I was making, I used to make. Second person singular gets an S. Facie bas. You were making, you used to make. Third person singular, facie bot. It was making, it used to make. MUS on the first person plural, facie bamus. We were making, we used to make. Second person plural, and in tis, facie batis, facie batis. Y'all were making, y'all used to make. Third person plural, and T goes on the end. Facie bant, they were making, they used to make. The form that we have in our sentence is facit. It's the third person singular present active indicative form. He, she, it makes. So who is making it in this sentence? She's making it. Fortune is making it. Fortuna is making it. So what does this clause say? Where's my pen? But also, it makes, meaning fortune, she makes. That they, there should be them. Makes them blind. So the first clause is not only is luck itself blind, but also she makes them blind. Okay, let's do our last clause here and then put it all together. Quos semper iuvat. Quos semper iuvat. Okay. Subject of iuvat, that's going to be fortune again, because there's no other nominative form that's been stated. So this is fortune. Fortuna is the subject again. And then our verb here is iuva, right? Woo. Let's get a sheet of paper and conjugate that really quickly. Iuvat comes from iuvo, iuvare, iuvavi, iuvatum. This is a first conjugation, and it means to help. To help, to assist. All right. The O at the beginning, but the ARE indicates that we are in first conjugation. Let's get this charted. Longer there. Okay, the stem is iuv, iuv, in all of it. If your V's look like U's or your U's look like V's, guess what? It does not matter in Latin because there was no distinction between the two. They were both V's. It's kind of why V sounds have such a W sound or W pronunciation in Latin, is because it's not any different from a U. And if you plug a word that has a V into Whitaker's words and you use a U instead, or vice versa, it will still pull it up because they are the same letter in Latin. All right, so we've got the stem in. What vowel do we need? We're in first conjugation, so that vowel, the thematic vowel, accounts for everything. So plug that A in. Let's be the fonts for a second. A. Oh, that's not enough room over there. A. Okay. In the present tense, that's all we need. We can, we don't use an A up in first person singular though. We'll pretend like I never did that. Let's throw in our personal endings. Iuvo, I help. Iuvas, you help. Iuvat, she helps. Iuvamos, we help. Iuvatis, y'all help. Iuvant, they help. Imperfect and future get their tense indicators. It's always BA in imperfect. BO, and that's the ending in future. BI for everything but third person plural. And and then personal endings. Iuvabam, I was helping, I used to help. Iuvabas, you were helping, you used to help. Iuvabat, he was helping, he used to help. Iuvabamus, we were helping, we used to help. Iuvabatis, Y'all were helping, y'all used to help. Iuvabant, they were helping, they used to help. Future, iuvabo, I will help, iuvabis, you will help, iuvabit, it will help, iuvabimus, we will help, iuvabitis, y'all will help, iuvabunt, they will help. The form we have in the sentence is iuvat, third person singular, present active form. And we know that it's fortune that is the subject here. So fortune helps. Quos here is our relative pronoun. It is referring back to what? So what's before this bucket? So it can be can have an antecedent that's within the verb here, but we know it's not because this is a singular verb. This is, if we look at our relative pronoun chart here, all of our forms, it will show us that this is a plural masculine form. The subject of that verb is singular feminine, so it's not the antecedent of quos here. Eos caecos, this is the antecedent for our relative pronoun. It agrees in gender, those are male or masculine, and number, both are plural. It does not have to agree in case here, it just happens to be in the same case in its own clause here. So this is referring back to the them made blind, those blind ones, the ones made blind. So them blind, whom. So this is now the object of iuvat here. And semper is, everybody's probably seen semper on something like something marine related, semper fi, which is short for semper fidelis, which is always faithful. Semper here is an adverb, which means always. It's the always part of the always faithful motto. Okay, so this clause itself is whom, referring to the blind men or the blind ones, masculine. Whom, luck, fortune, chance. Just going to use a different one every single time. Different word. Whom, chance, always helps. So what is this full sentence? Go back to our little sheet here. I should have left more room, but whatever. Non solum fortuna ipsa est caeca. That one was, where's my pen? There we go. That was not only is, oops, gotta move that back. Jeez Louise. Is luck itself blind. Then we had the next clause, sed etiam caecos facit. But also she makes where's my orange? Hey. She makes them oh nope, that is brown. Which means this one is actually orange. What in the ham sandwich? There it is. Okay. She makes them blind. Who's them? whom she always, I think I used a different color for that one. That's right. Always helps. So like the last video, this one is about people who are a little too lucky and who are served a little too well by chance, by coincidence, by fortune, by fate. You could just say that this is like nice sour grapes you got there, Cicero, you unlucky bag of wind. You could say that it's like you're just jealous you don't always get lucky, but also there's the thing of, ooh, it's hard to learn to do anything if good things just kind of happen all the time. That's kind of the gist of what this is saying. All right, we've got another sentence to translate here. Next time, check back. Valete discipuli.